Yeah, sorry, everybody. No Spanx. This is Admiral Tommy Scoble. How are you? We got Duffs the Rhymes on time. What are the odds of that? Huh? Smitty, a minute and 40 seconds early. Well done. Oh, good to see you. Listen, this is going to be fun, people. The very first time I brought this dirt bag up, right? The Diddler. The first time I brought this dirt bag up, none of this crap was happening, but there were murmurs, right? There were murmurs. There were a lot of people talking about what a dirtbag this dude was. So we did the first show on him, and I said, you're going to find out that this dude is Epstein-like in so many ways. And I promise you, I was saying this a really long time ago. If you've been on the boat for a long time, you can back me up on this. But I've been saying this. Layla Bradley, so look at you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sporting the hat today. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. Good to see you. Hey, my sister. Gary's George. Good to see you. Doc, it's an honor. It is an honor. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. So, AJ Speaks. Good to see you. So, yeah, anybody can back me up on this. I started saying back then, this cat is very Epstein-like, right? This is a dude who films things. This is a dude. Lisa, what's happening, my friend? I believe you. I'm sorry for your for everything you're going through. In fact, this is thoughts and prayers. Lisa Trimble is an angel on earth and is really, really working hard to take care of somebody. And what she's doing is so above and beyond what I could possibly do, and I think what most of us could possibly do. It's pretty incredible, really. Just Pauline, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Sandy Wandy, Lisa Trimble, I love you. You have no idea how much. I mean that. You're a phenomenal person. People Brox, what say ye? Good to see you. Queen of Awkwardness, Joni Allen, Scooby Lee. Hey, Scoob. And Lynn Sanity is is on deck. Lori, how are you? Lori Lynn. Glad you're here, Lynn. Breezy. Spanx is actually doing errands. He's running around and doing errands, something I wanted him to do for a while. So I'm pretty happy about it. Pete Taylor, good to see you. Katie Connie. Diddy's disgusting. We're going to tear him apart in a minute. Stick around. T. Prada, well, I'll be damned. How are you, my friend? It's an honor. Long crew member in good standing for a very long time. T. Prada's been around about as long as the boat has. Always an honor. Yeah, he's I did. You're slipping, Lisa. You're gonna have to duck back there, hun. You got you a two-piece. Forward looking. You're gonna want to catch this one. I promise. You're gonna catch the replay on this. Christina, good to see you. Aspire to inspire. What a cool name. What a great name. Do you love that? I do. That is a cool name. Roberta. I'm doing better. You know what? I went out today. With Quibble. Body Illusion, glad you're here. I went out with Quibs today, and we went and did. I still love you too, Prada. We did a Rip Curl readiness. If you've never gone over and checked out Rip's channel, you need to. There's actually a couple of them, and they're a lot of fun. And he's going to hook you up with some with knowledge that, no joke, at this point right now, you probably need to know. It's just leave it at that. But that is an absolute fact. So Quibs and I went out for a meetup. We went and met fans of the other channel and did a lunch. It was absolutely freaking phenomenal. But I'll talk all about that on the other channel, I promise. I feel a lot better. Robin. I had a bad day. I didn't have a good morning, but I came home and I was able to take a nap. I haven't been sleeping. So I came home and I was able to lay down and knock out a nap. And shortly after that, when I woke up, I was like, yeah, I feel better. I can get up and do what I wanted to do, which one of that was talk about this low-life piece of trash, human excrement that Sean Combs. So we've talked about this dude before, right? In fact, we've talked about him a lot. And everybody knows that his houses got raided, right? Both coasts. And a lot of people have been emailing me. I mean, a grip of you that are super bummed out because the raids took place a long time ago. And as true crime aficionados that most of you are, you're going, Tommy, they raid houses the day they arrest you, right? And that's no BS. That is usually how it goes down, right? Normally, when the door comes down, you're leaving in handcuffs. And very often, it may be the last time you see your house, right? At least for a long time. they're pretty serious usually about that. Now, this is a cat that's going to be able to make any bail you give him, right? What bail are they going to put on Diddy that he ain't going to be able to throw up and get out of this country if he wanted to? Now, people trip on that a lot. The truth of the matter is, it's a difficult thing to do. It's a difficult thing to do. Just about every country is pretty friendly with the extradition stuff because of how much cash we throw around as a country. But even the ones that aren't, if the crimes are SA in nature, very often, as long as there's not the death penalty on the table, governments like to cut deals to send people back here. A lot happens all the time, and people run to Mexico and they head down. They always, people don't get away. They don't. And if you're one of the most famous cats going, like, he's a pretty well-known dude, right? Really a well-known dude. So, yeah, James Avery says, hope he's arrested soon. And this is a popular sentiment, but let me give you my take from a criminal's, former criminal's standpoint on this thing. First of all, he came out and blanket denied everything, right? And by everything, I mean, there are 5 pending lawsuits against him, and I think a 6th may have just broken. Individuals who say that this man assaulted them in a sexual way, right? And some of the stuff's pretty damn heinous, and most people have heard about the freak offs and all of the kind of bisexual stuff he was forcing on a lot of the people around him while he filmed it. He's super into to filming sex. Rolling Stone, good to see you. His sex, other people's sex, and keeping it. Apparently, there were a lot of tunnels in these homes. In fact, there was a tunnel in the home in LA that supposedly went all the way to the Playboy Mansion. So this place was pretty decked out and trippy. But they had cameras in places people didn't know them. So when they went in there to raid this place, they took it all. They got all of it, right? So a video just came out because, as I said, as I was saying with the Diddy thing, sorry people, I had a complete and utter brain fart, which is pretty common these days, actually, with what's going on in my dome. But as they raided this place, they take all of the hard drives, all of the electronic, everything that could store anything, right? Now, since the first biggest lawsuit, which is Cassie, right? Cassandra Ventura, when Cassie filed her lawsuit, he came out and said, none of this happened. This is complete and utter crap. I never put hands on this woman. We're going to settle, right? We're going to settle out of court, which does not make you guilty. It really doesn't. People with $1 billion will throw $10 million at somebody to not have their reputation destroyed. They'll do it. That really does legitimately happen. The word is he threw closer to 30 million at her in less than 24 hours, but was able to still maintain the fact that he did not do it, right? And she's not going to talk because of the settlement. Now a tape has come out, which absolutely verifies that he put hands on her and feet and all kinds of other things. She's in a hotel being dragged by the hair across the floor and then kicked in the head. It's one of the most disturbing things. I'm not showing it. Spanx Calhoun was going to come on. I honestly don't feel like showing it. It's all over the place. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It's not something you'd want to watch a second time. If you do, there's something really wrong with you. And that brings up an interesting point. Where the hell did it come from? Kind of an interesting question, isn't it? Where the hell did that tape come from? Cassie didn't release it, right? She couldn't have. How the hell would she have had it, right? She's the V in this thing. Well, apparently, the word is that the way that they got this is it was let out by the government to get people talking about the case. They seized this. This was on a hard drive that came out of his house. What kind of sick bastard saves that? For real. This is like a security footage cam, right? So he had to go in and buy that off of the hotel, right? He needed that thing gone. He wanted to get that done, but he had him burn a copy of it, right? Because he has it. There's a copy of that thing. This is a sick individual, man. This guy ain't right, right? And I'm talking really not right. Why would you keep something like that? He came out and made a really beautiful apology Such utter horse crap. Honestly, if you can get through it, God bless you. It's one of the most disgusting. It's just so phony. Like watch his mannerisms and his gestures. I'd love to know how many times he did that before that one was like, was that take 6, take 7? Because I promise you, man, that cat didn't come out and do anything genuine. He's really a disgusting human being. So, are we going to see more? Because the word is, Sweet Liberty, good to see you. The word is, Nat B from Canada, good to see you. The word is, we're going to see more. The word is that this is something that they're doing to scare the crap out of people in this cat sphere of influence. And here's, in my humble opinion, this is straight opinion. But I think the reason that that he hasn't been arrested is because he may not be the biggest fish, right? He might not be the biggest fish in this game. He may have an opportunity to work to save himself. My gut would say that he might be throwing other people under the bridge, right, or under the bus. His drug mule, right? Good looking kid. Looks like he's probably in his early 20s. As a white kid, played college ball, played college basketball. Yeah, really good looking kid. And then somehow ends up a drug mule for Diddy. And according to all of the stuff in the indictments, I mean, in a lot of these civil suits, according to a lot of the stuff that's coming out in these civil suits. Thank you, Rip. Duffster Rhyme says 100% agree. I think that maybe some of the people on these tapes might be, I don't know, the Carters. You know, there's some reason to believe that maybe Jay and his wife Beyonce may be in the crosshairs. There's certainly a lot of stuff. If you kept for posterity a video of you beating your girlfriend, right? If you kept that, what do you think he got rid of? Right? This fool didn't get rid of anything. This guy didn't get rid of anything. Can you imagine the mountain, the treasure trove of crap that they're going to pull out of this dude's house? Eve says, one of the most inhumane men in the business. He even laid hands on his mother. Disgusting. And you know what? His bodyguard, Gene Deal, I believe his name is, former bodyguard, former bodyguard, alleges exactly that. He said that this cat most assuredly put hands on his mother. That's really, really messed up. Roberta says, what about J-Lo? How long was she with him? Well, let's talk about that, because this is interesting. While J-Lo was kicking it with Diddy, they went to a club. I believe it was in New York. And there was a shooting at that club, right? And the word is he handed his to her to carry it into the club for him. Now, this is not particularly unusual, right? Guys would have their girls put a pistol in a purse, you know, small little Saturday night special or something in a purse. But if she carried that thing in there and then he shot somebody with it, right, that could be a big deal. Now, someone else went to the joint for that shooting, right? Diddy did not go to prison for that. Someone else did. And the word is the dude that went just took it. You know, I would imagine it was a good sized paycheck. I can't imagine how big, but it had to be a pretty good sized paycheck, right? I wouldn't do it for $1 million a year. I promise you. You know, convicts talk about this all the time, but God, you know, that because there's a little loophole that says if they hold you one day longer than they're supposed to, right? In the federal system, they owe you $1,000 a day. To me, you know, F you, $1,000 for 1 day of freedom. No, it's worth a lot more than that to me. And that always struck up a conversation for people who would say, I'd do $1 million, I'd do a year for $1 million. Ain't no chance on God's green earth I would. Ain't no way. But to throw away a dime, I went to prison for things I did, and it was friggin' terrible. Marissa says he has lost his reputation, but I doubt he will lose his freedom. Sick, sick man. The thought of what he is on tape makes me nauseous. Well, here's the good news. Here is the good news. If we're right, and I do believe we are right, I don't think this guy can cut a deal that would say you're not going to do time. I just don't think that's even possible. I really don't. If what they say is legit, that's on these tapes, no. I mean, prosecutors will cut deals, right? They have to. In order to get lowlives to turn on larger lowlives, they got to cut deals, right? It also saves the government a grip of money. Chicka Cherry Cola, good to see you. Hey, Kelly, it saves the government a grip of money by not having to go through the process of a lengthy trial and getting 12 people. And you're talking about a Diddy trial, so you're probably going to have to sequester him, right? Now, this fool might take it to the box. This is a guy that, if he's not cutting a deal already, maybe he takes this thing all the way to the box, right? Goes to trial. But if he does, God help him, man. Right? You do realize what this cat's accused of. So his drug mule, good-looking kid I was talking about earlier, they caught him on an airplane, right? He was getting ready to board Diddy's personal jet, and he had a little bit of he had some blow on him, supposedly a little of that pink blow that is becoming so popular these days, which has got other stuff in it. It's not just blow, but anyway, he had a little pink blow on him. He had some weed, and then he had some candies, and they didn't say what was in them, but they said drug-laced candies. Now, I don't know what that means. I really don't. And I'm a drug dude, but I'm not sure what they mean by drug-laced candies. I'll tell you this. When you consider how many people say he had bottles that were all spiked at every single one of his friggin' parties, he had the booze and then he had the booze, right? So I wouldn't need a piece of candy from Diddy, right? Male or female. I don't think that's an easy, I think that's an easy decision, right? You wouldn't want to eat, drink, or do anything near this guy, right? This is a low life. But if what you are hearing is true, right, then this little drug mule cat was not only carrying stuff for Diddy going everywhere, he was also responsible for procuring the street sweepers, right? The alphabet toys, the AKs and the ARs and all of those things. Yeah, he was out there responsible for tracking down those things. That's an ugly felony, right? That's an ugly felony. I know this. I went to prison for it. They do not fart around, and they don't cut deals very easily. So this kid, who they apparently have a mountain of evidence on, right? Three of the people who have lawsuits named this kid in them, right? He was a big part of this little inner circle. He just got probation. Marissa Robinson says, "Will the drug mule talk?" I don't know. I'm gonna tell you something. It's a hell of a deal. Frank Humphrey says, "Could be opiate lollipops." Absolutely. Used to buy fentanyl lollipops myself. They were they used to give them they're for hospice care, but they're literally just a fentanyl sucker, and they're a strong drug, dangerous drug. Info Dump Truck, good to see you. King James, how are you? Avena Sativa, good to see you. Justin Bieber got diddled, says King James. And we'll get to that. You know what? Will the drug mule talk? I think the drug mule already did, right? I think the drug mule already did. Sorry. You're getting on a plane, right? So you were going to be crossing state lines as fed. Right? Your dope that you're carrying is crossing state lines. It's a federal offense. So he's getting on a plane with dope when they catch him. That's not good. The three kinds of dope he's got, that's not good, right? But the feds aren't going to get too uppy about that. But if he was responsible for procuring weapons, they took a bunch of them out of his house. The word is that both coasts had a small armory in them. If this guy was out getting these things, you can just go buy them. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. If you have somebody procuring these things for you, somebody like me, what I used to do, you're not getting them the right way, right? Why isn't he getting them the right way? Honestly, why wouldn't you? Yes, Duffster Rhymes. I did see him use the clip of him introducing his own words, his adopted white kid. Yes, pretty disturbing. It's pretty disturbing. Yeah, he got probation, right? He got probation. Like, ask a convict, right? Tell a convict what this kid's accused of. And he got probation. I don't know. A lot of people were saying that this guy's responsibilities working for the Diddler involved doing a lot of bad things, right? Two of them I just named. But one, and this was not alleged by everybody, but in one alleges that he also had a lot to do with trying to sort of work as a chicken hawk, I think is the term they used to use back in the day. And that is somebody that goes out and procures very young people for the purpose of sex, right? They're kind of like pimps, but they're not, right? They're just scumbags. And all of the stuff that this dude's accused of is heavy duty, right? For the kid to get probation, man, oh man, if he didn't, his lawyer walks on water and eats bullets and pisses ice cubes. Feel me? If that's just his lawyer, wow, he's got a good one, right? Tip my hat to pimping. I don't think that's exactly what happened. I think this boy cut a deal, and I think he probably cut a pretty good one from the look of it. Right? Now, what do you think he gave up for that? Right? Is he gonna? When we think of somebody cutting a deal, we watch all of those movies, right, where he goes on the stand and he goes, "That guy right there did this," right? That's not necessarily the case. This dude could have worked 4 days sitting in there and telling them every single thing they wanted to know, rattling answers off to questions, and may never have to take the stand. Right? Maybe that's the deal he cut, because that happens. There were guys that made a deal on me, and I never went to trial. Okay? They wouldn't have testified if I did. Now Diddy is hey, now see you. Good to see you. Jenny, glad you're here. Yeah, I'm glad you made it. I really am. Made it here thanks to Carol from needing a meeting. I love Carol from needing a meeting. Shannon Smith, good to see you. I don't know if I said hello. Katie, good to see you. And I know the new people hate this, but I'm sorry. These are my peeps. Spike, what's happening? Good to see you, Spike Z's. Yeah, I don't think I missed any of this. All right. So back to the Bieber thing, right? Hey, Brianna Miller, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Iced Autumn, good to see you. Let's get back to this Bieber thing. So everybody probably knows about he's fond of young men, right? His proclivities seem to go in both directions. I'm not here to judge anybody's what flips anybody's switch. If it's consensual, I don't give a crap what you do with your life, right? That's completely on you. A dose of Rose. Good to see you. One of your peeps. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. One of my peeps. Good to see you. So first, he brought in Usher, and there's a lot of speculation and a lot of really weird stuff that comes out of his mouth about Usher, and a lot of really disturbing stories about. You drop a 13. I think he was 13 or 14 years old at the time. So I look at Huxley, right, the kid that my partner's son, right, good kid. But you look at this kid and think, my God, this is the age that the kid was when he got dropped off at Diddy's house. First of all, I don't give a crap. Call me a bad person. Call me whatever you want. His mom should do life in prison for sending her kid to Diddy. Seriously. To flavor camp, they called it. Would you send your kid off to that? I mean, without going there? I mean, shit. I mean, I might let my kid go there, but I'd be 6 feet away. No way. With all the rumors that people say about the industry, I mean, you can go, well, no one knew. Nah, no. Come on. Send the 14-year-old out. Let's say you don't think there's a chance in hell Diddy was going to look at him in a sexual way. Let's throw that off the table and say that didn't happen. Right? I don't want my 14-year-old looking at naked 20 to 30-year-old women 7 nights a week, watching them have sex around my kid. It's a nightmare. I don't know about you guys. That's a nightmare. That's not a hookup for a boy either. I promise you. So it's pretty ugly. But it seems that Usher then led Bieber to him. Now there is word. It has been, people have said that there were trips to the emergency room for things that, not from falling down. Blue Bayou, good to see you. That there was some really odd stuff with visits to the emergency room having to do with some of these kids, right? Kathy Bailey says, these Hollywood parents pimp their kids out regularly. Well, let me tell you something. These 2 kids' parents did. Sorry, they did. And I think Bieber got it worse. I really do believe that Bieber got it worse. he's been a mess, right? He seems to be doing pretty well now, but by his own admission, he's been a mess. And I'm not judging him. I'm the kind of mess I was, right? He was a dump truck to throw as much dope into as he could. And he was doing basically everything he could get his hands on, right? Yeah, if Shannon, the idea of a boy being brought to the ER for that kind of an injury is tough, right? It really is. It's tough. But there's no way that this kind of stuff didn't get back to parents. I just cannot believe that happened. I can't. Info Dump Truck says I'm boycotting so many things. It's easier just to find one good place for everything and stick to that brand or chain or whatever. I hear you. I hear you. It's a pretty ugly friggin' world. So Bieber shows up there for the same kind of gig. And what's crazy is there's so much. This dude filmed everything. So we got film of him saying, I used to, me and Usher used to wrestle on the bed every morning, when he was 10 for cereal. And while he's doing this, right, for cornflakes, and while this story's being told, the comedian, really short one that was in Jumanji and all those other films, can't remember his name right now. Probably will come to me, but he had been paying this dude or brought this dude to be like the MC. He was going around the party and just filming. But he's laughing at the interaction between Sean Combs and Usher. And he even makes a comment. What the F did he just say? He's joking about, no, not Jack Black, the black actor, the 5 foot tall black comedian. Really, really short, like 4'8". He's I can't think of his name off the top of my dome, unfortunately. This is my life, slipping. Anyway, the point being, though, it was obvious, Kevin Hart. It was obvious to Kevin Hart exactly what was going on. And it was obvious to everybody else exactly what was going on. And if you look on the bed, there's a sex aid about this long on it, right? His parties were foul, right? And again, I've been to foul parties, right? Knock yourself out. But the problem is there were people there that weren't capable of saying no. And if they're not capable of saying no, then you know what that is, right? Question, says Lisa Trimble. Diddy looked high to me during his apology. What do you think? Great question, right? Great question. And I'll tell you what I think. I think Diddy is an opiate addict, right? I think he's strung out on dope, and I think he has been for a long, long time. That's what I think. I think that his drug of choice, it's not smack, it comes in pills, right? But he's doing heroin and pills. That's what he's doing. Yeah, he drugged them, that B. He drugged everybody. This was standard operating procedure. All of his bodyguards, all of the people around him, the people that went to the party said, you knew not to drink from those bottles. I have a question for you. If everybody there knew not to drink off those bottles, everybody there is complicit in whatever those bottles did to people later on, right? So for them to pop out now and go, oh, yeah, we all knew that. Well, then what the hell were you doing? Sorry, man. Was it one party that you saw that at? Or was this something that went on for 5 or 6 months, right? Is this 5 years? How many of those parties did you see that crap like that? Because you knew what was happening, right? You're downright guilty. I'm sorry. I don't see any other way around that. I love that these people are coming out now, right? I love that that the stories are coming out now. And sadly, I'm not at all surprised. I'm not. Here's the deal. $1 billion, right? If you got $999 million, you're not a billionaire, right? But that's a crap load of money. This cat is a billionaire, right? $1,000 million. If you had $1 million bill, this guy's got 1,000 of them, right? So as a billionaire, this guy's got a legal team from hell, and he's got the ability to make really hideous things go away. I'd like to know how he got the tape from the hotel. Who at that hotel said, all right, Sean, we're not going to call the cops. right? We just watched you beat the bark off your girlfriend, right, in our hotel. But I'm not going to call the cops. Who did that? Who burned him the copy of it and said, I'm not going to call the cops? Because I'll tell you something right now. That dude, that's it. That's a criminal. That's a piece of shit. I bet he got paid a hell of a lot of money. The rumor is $50K. One of the bodyguards said that he paid $50K to get that tape. This is really odd, Rick, because it's a hard question to answer, right? This is a really hard question to answer because we don't know just how gnarly this is, right? There's a chance that they went in there, pulled all of this evidence. And I believe, this is me, this is an opinion, just a convict's opinion. When you hit two houses at literally the exact same second, you're doing it because you're afraid that this house is going to let that house know what's going on and you're going to destroy evidence. So it looks to me like they were going in there to preserve stuff that these lawsuits said existed, right? His producer, Little Rod, said they got every single square foot of that house is on tape, right? He said there are tapes of this person, that person, start dropping names. He said what they were going to find on those tapes. The feds went in there to get him because what was listed in that civil suit ain't going to fly civilly. I mean, you can sue this dude, but what's listed in there is felony after felony after felony after felony, right? Tons of them. Brianna Miller says, even Ashton Kutcher was asked about the Diddy parties, and he said, I can't talk about that. He did. In fact, he did it on Hot Ones, which is a show where people eat really hot wings, and they continue to get hotter and hotter hot sauces. And while he was on there, it was worse than that. That sounds bad. But what he said is, no, I can tell you. Oh, no, I can't tell that story either. And he did that a couple of times. Like he was definitely highlighting that what went on there was not stuff you could talk about. But what people said is there are two parties, right? There was the first party that everybody kind of hung out at. And then as everybody started to leave, the things got weird, right? Things got weird. And that's when he decided that Lisa Trimble, he was absolutely high. I promise you he was high. And he was high on opiates. He is an opiate addict. If I had to guess, I'd say Percocets, right? Or if he's not doing perks, then he's probably doing like pharmaceutical fentanyl, right? Which is not street fentanyl. It's a completely different animal. But perk 30s is the safe bet, but not from the crap on the street. He's probably getting, the stuff from a pharmacy that's not going to kill him, unfortunately. Wilmer Valderrama said he learned how to throw a pool party from Diddy. Well, kind of funny you'd say that, right? Because he's got a hell of a reputation himself. Andrew Wise, can't even term how many people knew what was happening in my home and no one said a single word. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really am. You know what? No one should ever have to deal with that. And that's awful. And you know what? Come back and talk to us sometime when I'm not talking about this low life. Please. Swing by this channel sometime when we're just being normal, because this isn't my normal gig, right? We cover these losers every once in a while because of my unusual upbringing. Or that's not even the right word. I had a great upbringing. I made a lot of really bad life choices that sometimes give me an angle. I've had a lot of doors kicked in, right? Been raided by the FBI a bunch of times. It's one of those things. So hold on one second. I don't have X. Oh, yeah, like Twitter. Someone should post, I'm a woman. I am safe at your hotel. If it were me, would you help me or would you ignore it? And hashtag the hotel. Wow. It's astounding how much you can get away with if you're willing to throw money at the problems, right? 50 grand to the guy at the hotel, right? 8 million, 10 million to a guy that's going to go take a shooting beef for you, right? And then there was another shooting because an argument broke out supposedly between father and son, right? Diddy and his kid, and in a studio. And at some point, somebody took one in the stomach and a shot to the stomach, and they called the law. The law came out and determined it was a drive-by shooting, right? Not sure how that happened. I'm not saying that the cops were crooked. I'm not saying they gave the guy a pass because he was a billionaire mogul. But I'll tell you something right now. I don't buy it. I don't. My experience with the police is if a friggin' gun goes off, they'd have been looking around. I have a feeling they'd have gone in there, checked the bathrooms, like, hey, somebody just drove by and shot. I don't know, man. Maybe. Not sure I buy it. I saw a question that was asking about the hotel. The hotel is no longer in business. It's defunct under the name, and the name is not coming to me right. The Intercontinental, I think, is the name of the hotel in Century City. I think that's what it is. If not, that's a different case, and I'm confusing two of them. That could be the case, but I'm pretty sure that that was the name of the hotel, and that it was in Century City. But he beats the brakes off her. I mean, it's ugly. He's dragging her by the hair, right? He's dragging her by the hair across like a marble floor, taking her toward an elevator. And then he walks away and like he's trying to kick a field goal, throws a very serious kick at the back of her head. It's about as disturbing as anything you could ever look at. Blue Bayou says, Intercontinental LA, I'm emailing them that question right now. God bless you. Now you see, what pisses me off is the fact that the officials let Diddy get away with this for so long. It comes down to the amount of cash, right? These people, you got to get in a. So Diddy's a billionaire. We all get that, right? How much cash did this jerk off generate to become a billionaire? Do you understand what I'm saying? This dude, like him, hate him, whatever, has generated a grip of money, sold a ton of shit. He had a clothing line. He's got sold out a liquor line. This dude is a stone cold dirtbag, but he cranked out a ton of money. And the reason that I point that out is dirtbags like that. It's just like the mob, right? In the mob, a guy doesn't say, "Oh, he was a great guy," right? He was a good earner. That was a dude who could go out and find stuff to generate cash, right? Because the cash kind of goes up. There are a lot of people that don't want anything to happen to him because he was kind of laying golden eggs, right? Clive Davis didn't want anything, right? All of those people that he worked with in the beginning didn't have, just wanted the best for him. And I think a lot of people look the other way because now that people are talking about it, you hear people say, "Oh yeah, well, people just knew you didn't, you would never ever allow yourself to be alone with them." The whole world knew this. The whole world knew this. Well, ain't that a bitch? Can I ask a question about bang bangs? So my husband and I, we have a 3-year-old daughter, and my husband, he's the love of my life. But I feel scared with the fact that he has a bang bang in the house. Yeah, a little off the to protect us, but as a wife and a mother, I just get scared because of our daughter. Well, I completely understand that. Am I wrong to worry about this? I honestly, that's above my pay grade. Here's what I will tell you. It is really easy to render a handgun impossible for a 3-year-old to do anything with, right? There's a lock that goes into the trigger space that locks on, and it literally makes it impossible to fire the gun, right? That now, people don't tend to like them because it also makes it difficult to defend yourself because you got to then get that thing out of there. There are companies that make some really incredible hideaway things in furniture, in pictures on walls that come down this way, and there's a thing on the back of it. There's a lot of things that you could do to get the thing off the ground so it wouldn't be anywhere near a kid. It's a difficult thing because we want to protect our families, to be sure. right? I can't do it. I'm not allowed anywhere near them ever again. I have a lifelong restriction on firearms. So it's, but I can understand both parties completely on this. I really can. It's terrifying, but it is something that you got to be super responsible if that's going to be there. And I would demand a trigger guard, right? And I'm not trying to sound like an ass, but I would want a trigger guard when I had, and I was a criminal, but I had a trigger guard, and that went into a gun box. Right? It's just a square deal with a combination. They get them now with thumbprints, so they're supposed to open really, really quickly. But there's a lot you can do, and you should. But that's kind of my humble opinion on that one. Caitlin Clark's body Thetan. Caitlin Clark's body Thetan. Do you love that? P. Diddy is one of many in Hollywood involved in this crap. No question. Hollywood's a cesspool of deviance. And you are 100% right, right? You are 100% right. It almost makes you go, why are we even bothering to talk about this cat, right? But what makes him unique, and he is, what makes him unique is this cat rose so quickly through the ranks, right? He went from being nothing to being incredibly influential and powerful in a ridiculously short period of time, right? Not saying he didn't put work in, but boy, oh boy, he had the golden touch. There's an easy way to do that, right? We knew of a stockbroker that had the same kind of golden touch, right? He bought an island, had his own planes. They were doing the exact same thing. The reason that this guy is worth talking about is because this dude threw parties for politicians, no joke, right? Politicians, ministers, big named individuals who were all going and hanging out with this fool. And he was recording people in compromising positions, right? And the word is using that information to ensure that people did exactly what he wanted, right? That's some rugged stuff. Now, for those who are fans of the genre, I'm not. It's not really my get down. I'm an old man, but there are a lot of people on this subject who are of a mind that this guy was the reason that Tupac is no longer with us, right? That this is something that is almost, again, it's almost accepted that, well, yeah, he had something to do with it, right? Yeah, it's disturbing to beat crap. But I think what really makes this guy worse than the Hollywood is the fact, and Biggie, no question. But what really makes this guy a lowlife is he's willing to kill, right? If you believe the allegations, he's willing to kill, right? Not at all afraid of that. He's not. He is really, when a person is willing to do anything to get what they want, that's one of the most frightening things in the world to me. Absolutely one of the most frightening things in the world. I mean, where did Diddy learn how to throw parties? Well, that's a really interesting question, isn't it? You know? Rick Spicer says, no man that wore a dress in a movie career failed, but had to wear a dress. Some show proved it. Wow. You know what? I know that Cat Williams talked about this, that there's a big push in Hollywood for whatever reason to try to force actors, particularly African-American actors, into female, into dress, to have them dress in drag. And there are people that have spoken up and said, no chance this is happening. But it does seem to be a recurring theme. Cat Williams talked about it. And then shortly after he did, Kevin Hart. That was a weird thing because Kevin Hart came out, was asked about it, came out and commented on it. So, yeah, there are lines you don't cross. Basically said, I wouldn't do it. And then went on Saturday Night Live and wore a dress. It's very, very odd. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Shelly says, love Cat Williams. You know what? People come down on one side or the other on this, right? People come down on one side or another on this. I happen to to dig Cat's body of work. I think he's super funny. I really do. And I think he probably has a bunch of dirt, like a bunch. I think his delivery, sometimes the way that he says things leaves people to think that it's almost like crazy conspiracy stuff. And I don't believe that that's the case, but I think his delivery talks a lot about the Illuminati, and he talks a lot about some stuff that, if you're new to conspiracy theories, maybe you should take small bites. I feel like he throws a couple of pizzas at you. Info Dump Truck says, I saw that weird dress theory. They linked it to spiritualism, though, and it sounds weird and a little crazy to me. Well, you know something, Info Dump Truck? I'm going to throw that up there, and I'll tell you why, right? Because everything involved in this sounds frigging bizarre, right? Everything sounds crazy. Info Dump Truck says, Cat Williams is great, but he has some weird hangups about spirituality that messed up his logic, I think. He's passionate in his beliefs, and I do think that I really dig the guy. I don't think anything he says is dishonest. I don't think he comes out with things that aren't true. And if I start nitpicking people's deliveries, then I'm not being a very good person. And that's not what I was shooting for. What I was really hoping for, I wish the world took that dude at face value, but I know for a fact, because I did this for a really long time, but how something is presented, the package it comes in, and how that is delivered really affects how many people believe it or not, right? And that's unfortunate. Jaguar Wright comes across a little weird, I think, but seems like she knows stuff. This is something else that's just different, right? This industry, right? This genre is one that drops a bunch of F-bombs in every song, right? It's a lot of that bitching and hoeing and all of that stuff in the songs. So there's sort of like an undercurrent of misogyny that just seems to me to be kind of prevalent, right? But Jaguar Wright obviously also knows a lot of stuff, but she's very colorful in her delivery, right? She's very animated. She's very colorful. And it starts looking like it's a performance. And again, I'm not saying the woman's being dishonest. I don't think that's the case, but it looks like a performance. And sometimes that's not great. I'm down for a conspiracy, and I don't expect Cat is dishonest. I think he's just a bit misguided. Yeah, I think that's probably safe. Pebble says, I missed something. You're at Reese's. You know what? This is a green screen. It's impressive as hell, though, isn't it? People, you've been getting a lot of comments on it. You like it? So, I understand abuse and trafficking and monopolies and stuff. But how does the dress thing fit in? You know what? Here's the thing, and this is, I guess, what I was trying to say earlier, right? We see some really crazy crap. We hear stuff, and you go, "There's no way." If you've played the conspiracy game for any length of time, if you ever gone down that rabbit hole, then you've probably heard Bohemian Grove, right? You've probably heard people make reference to Bohemian Grove, and people for years talked about how big name politicians were getting together and putting on black robes and going into the woods and dancing around fires, and people were like, what the hell ever? But they did, right? Somebody was able to go and get some images of just that. Now, doesn't mean they're doing anything funky, right? That could be fraternity kind of stuff, whatever. But this may sound insane, but I have the feeling that there's a lot of insane stuff being done in this industry. There is certainly a overwhelming amount of allegations, right, and speculations that if you wanted to be successful as a male artist, you were going to let Diddy do things to you, plain and simple. And this was a kind of a pay for play thing. So that, and it sounded like this was a pretty well-known thing. This is a pretty well-known thing by a lot of folks, right? And it really looks like crazy as crazy as it was, right? This kind of stuff wouldn't surprise me at all. When you hear people say stuff like, wait a second, you're telling me that there are people out there that get together on an island for the purpose of sleeping with underage kids, right? And then the list of names of the people going to this island are going to scare the crap out of you. Right? Politicians, if I tried selling you that story 10 years ago, you'd have gone, ex-president's going there too? Sure, Tommy. Sure. Right? But I think that what people like Diddy and people like Epstein do is they find individuals who have everything, right? Everything. And then they suggest some things they haven't had, right? Like high school girls or high school boys or whatever he's rolling out. And I think Epstein was a pimp that way. And I think this dude's a pimp that way, right? I think the difference between the two of them is that the industries were a little different. And one was purely a pedo, and the other is sort of well, he's fond of abusing everybody, right? From youngsters all the way up. He's not and male, female, he doesn't care. I think J-Lo will sing if she has to, and I think that there's a chance she might have to, right? Too many people are talking about the fact that she carried that piece into the nightclub, right? Whole world's talking about it. The whole world is talking about it. You know, Harvey must have been the tip of the iceberg. The crazy thing, T. Prada, is I think maybe this is the right way to look at this too, right? No shit. I think this is probably the takeaway, right? Solid takeaway from this is probably that when the Me Too movement started and really started to get underway, it looks like it missed this entire industry, right? For real. Because people were dropping like flies, right? But they didn't see anybody fall from that tree, right? Will Usher sing? I don't think so. This is a personal opinion. But when this is a great question. I don't see Usher singing because Usher has had plenty of opportunity. And he has been asked a lot of really pointed questions. And he seems to be, he has been very loyal, like to the end. Now, he's disappeared. He ain't hanging out near the cat, but I don't think he'll throw him under a bus. I just don't think so. And I think admitting it, as a guy, right? If he admits to this, there is a big stigma around, right? The just from a male standpoint, he might rather have that a secret. That's just sadly a reality, I think, with men and women. But with guys, that's a really hard thing with guy on guy stuff. Shannon Smith asks a fabulous question. Tommy, isn't the statute of limitations expired on most of this stuff? It's a great question. Here's the deal on that. Statutes of limitations, and as most of you know, are have been set by the government. There are laws that govern how long they can prosecute you for something that you've done illegally. For instance, I robbed a casino and I never got caught for it. And I can come on here and say, I robbed a casino and I never got caught for it. Because after 7 years, they can't do anything to me. Right? That's the statute of limitations on theft, right? Robbery. It gets dicey. Depending on where these things take place, the laws change. Now, he allegedly took two underage girls from one side of the country to the other to violently essay them both, and then revisited one to do it again a couple of nights later. That one right there, we definitely will not be able to dodge that with the statute of limitations. The feds will let that one go. You can, because of the fact that the person is underage, there are so many different ways they could prosecute that. They could prosecute it as kidnapping if they really wanted to, right? Especially once you put in the fact that they weren't happy, right? They really, there's so many ways they can go after them. The feds, right? The feds can go after him so many ways. And I think that this is going to get RICO'd, right? I think this is going to get RICO'd. And I don't know if I heard anybody else say that this dude was going to look just like Epstein before this thing was over. I don't remember anybody before me saying that. I know other people are speculating on the RICO. This is tailor-made for a RICO case. And if you're unfamiliar or you're outside the US, RICO is a law set up by the United States to go after the rackets, right? And the rackets were the crimes that are usually run by the mob. So the numbers games, right? Illegal gambling, like lottos that they run based off of horse racing, right? So they would have numbers that you could bet on every day. It's a big thing back east, right? But so illegal gambling, sports gambling, stuff like that. That's one of the rackets. Prostitution is one of the rackets. Drugs is one of the rackets, right? So the RICO law was set up so that you could go after an entire group of people, even if, so you got a crime family and one guy goes and shoots 3 people, you can prosecute the entire family for those murders as if they're one entity. Everybody can be charged. And the government has done this successfully plenty of times. They did it with a fairly well-known Mexican prison gang. And you never hear me say prison gang names on the show out of respect for the gangs. I don't do that, but they RICO'd a whole bunch of people. They also RICO'd a white prison gang, a little less success, right? But they RICO people, and this is a perfect case. If he is doing everything that he has been accused of, right? If he's doing everything that he's been accused of, then this is a racketeering, influence, corrupt organization like nothing else, right? Like nothing else. Becky Lynn says, what do you think about the medallion he's now wearing? I don't know what it is. I will have to check that out. Is he sporting something? Is he donning the good luck charm? Probably should have put that puppy on about a year ago, huh? Maybe longer than that. This is a beautiful thing. I'm sorry, but it is. What this guy, yeah, Diddy's daddy worked for Frank Lucas. There is truth to this too. Frank Lucas was played by Denzel Washington, right, in the movie. I can't remember what the name of the movie is. American Gangster, is that the name of the movie? The book is not, that's not the name of the book. But I read the book. As Hollywood does, right? Denzel looked like a pretty cool character in that. You know what I mean? But Frank Lucas was a epic lowlife. Sorry, he really was. If you do a little you read a little into that cat, you do some research, he was really not a good person. The medallion is a portrait of his parents. Well, I'll be damned. Figured he'd try to make mom happy before they ask her to testify. I'll tell you something. I really wholeheartedly believe, people, that every single friggin' day they are talking to people, they are interviewing people, and they are cutting deals. If what we think they have, and it looks that way. And I think that that's what leaking the video of Cassie getting assaulted. I think that's what the purpose of that was. Of all of the videos that you got, you leaked that one. Well, it certainly proves that he's a liar and that he absolutely abused women. That's going to cause a real shift in public opinion. Right now, the world hates him. They're going to hate him a lot more after this video. It's just the way it is. Midnight Show, good to see you. And I think I saw Tampa B man. Tampa B, good to see you. Always an honor. The medallion is his dad and him as a baby. Well, that's kind of nice. Shelly says that video is horrible. Dude needs to be under the jail. Sadly, I'm not gonna make any friends, but the truth of the matter is, he's not gonna catch any crap for that. Even if he went to prison, that's not something that believe it or not, I don't think he'd catch any crap for that. He's sadly that car doesn't run like that. Meek attempted to gain favor with the losers that are standing by him, probably for a few bucks. I think Meek, I think he and Meek are pretty good friends. Feel me? I think he and Meek are really good friends. There is now, I'm going to discuss two things before we end this puppy so that you guys can go deep dive these if you want to see them, right? I'm not putting them up. They're disturbing. And if you want to see them, I think you should have that right. But you should have the right to say no. And I don't want to kick anybody off the channel and go, you should leave right now because this is going to be disturbing. I'm not doing that. But I will tell you this. Here's the stuff that's really a bummer. So Usher and Bieber, right? The if you start deep diving that, there is a clip of film of Justin Bieber at a nightclub, and he is supposedly snorting blow. The kid can't be more than 14 or 15, and he's supposedly snorting blow. Doesn't look like he's snorting blow to me, right? And it's not going to look like he was snorting blow to you. It's going to look like his head was coming out of Odell Beckham's crotch, right? You can deep dive that if you want, right? Just put in Bieber and Odell Beckham and you can tell me what you think. But I think the kid got pimped. I think it's a horrific thing. And I think that I think Diddy's probably one of the worst we've seen. I'm not kidding. I don't think this guy's got a soul. One of the other things is allegedly an audio recording of Meek and Sean Combs getting busy. Now, I will tell you right now, this clip is bonk chicka bonk wow. It's all you're gonna hear is disgusting, really disgusting. What you're gonna hear is skin against skin, right? It sounds like somebody is absolutely murdering somebody else sexually. That's what it sounds like. That is out there, right? And the guy that made it is, said, oh, no, I'll tell you exactly what that is. Came off of my phone. He tells the whole story of it and everything else. It's a fairly disturbing deal. Midnight Show says, I'm not surprised at anything that comes out of Diddy. I've seen that clip, Tommy. It's disgusting. It really is. And you just want to cry for Justin Bieber. And if you don't, I really got to question what your soul is made of. If the clip doesn't hurt you inside, right? If you just take a few minutes to picture this kid's life, right? You get dropped off at that house at that age, and this dude says, welcome to the big time. That's your Lamborghini. When you turn 16, that's your mansion. Now, here's what I want you to do. And to a kid that, it's painful to watch. It's super, super painful to watch. He's that's Tampa B. What a great comment. The last video that you can check out is him violently assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie. Violently assaulting her. Most of you, if you deep dive, you've probably already seen it. It's disturbing. I don't think you will want to see it twice, right? But that video shows why women don't leave or talk, right? Because they get beat into a place of submission, sadly. And what he was doing to her, most people know, but what he was doing to her, forcing this woman to go out and hire sex workers, male and female sex workers, that would then come and basically molest her on film for his entertainment, so that he could then show those films to other people, which apparently he did on an airplane once with a bunch of people there. He's just really, I try to never, I don't want to do the tough guy thing or whatever, but I would do just about anything to have about 15 minutes in a room with that dude. I really would. There's nothing on planet Earth that this guy doesn't seem to be guilty of. If that falls into the you are really a scumbag category, like he's checking off every one of them, right? He's checking off every one of them, and he got disgustingly wealthy in the process. This Ashton Kutcher, if the world doesn't have a real good dose of who Ashton Kutcher is, right, then this was a guy that went to pick up the girl he was dating, looked through a window, saw a puddle of blood, realized that she was dead inside. Before he called the police, he called his agent, his manager, and Danny, right? His co-star SA friend from that 70s show. He called all of those people to make sure he was doing the right thing before he called the cops. Yeah, Danny Masterson. So that's not everything you need to know about Ashton Kutcher. Your girl's lying dead on the floor and you're more concerned about your effing career, right, than you are finding out who did that to her. Or maybe she's still with us, right? How about busting the hell inside to see what happened? He is the biggest lowlife that isn't being dragged across the coals. Because I'll tell you something, that dude ain't no good either. I promise you, that dude's no good. In fact, that whole little circle, you know what it makes you think? It makes you think Topher Grace was a hell of a guy, doesn't it? Honestly, tell me you don't just want to high five Topher Grace. Hey, you're a good man. You know what I'm saying? One of my best friends was beaten to death from his partner. I know it happens to both men and women. It's, you know what? If you look at people that, people who die violently, the odds are really damn good it's going to be your significant other. That's just sadly the truth, right? The odds are excellent. Special place in hell for these people with no soul. It hurts my soul. I absolutely cannot watch those videos. It just breaks me. I agree. James Avery, Topher Grace was the co-star on that 70s show, right? Played the lead, I believe, on that 70s show. And he was the only cat that didn't seem to go out and hang out in this little circle of dirt bags that were doing everything they can to leave a real wide swath behind it. And the word is that he butted heads badly with Danny Masterson, just did not like him. And my gut says he knew what everybody else knew, but everybody else seemed to like it, and he didn't. And it kind of makes me really like the dude. It really does. Kind of makes me just like the dude. Never saw the show. I don't think you're missing a whole hell of a lot. I mean, I wouldn't have said that before the Masterson thing. I actually really enjoyed the show back then, but now I'm just kind of bummed out, And I need to be able to do the disconnect thing, but maybe it's a little too soon on that one. Maybe I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to watch that show. It's probably because of because my friends are his victims, right? I'm friends with the people, some of the people that he victimized. Yeah, it's probably done for me on that one, but yeah. Am I early? No, love it. I'm going to be back at the normal time tonight. I was just doing a little disgraced mogul update. And the really funny thing, people, is he was, he was all of the different things they called him, a titan, a tycoon, a rock star, a this, a that. He's a disgraced billionaire. That's what he is now. If you Google disgraced billionaire, you will get him. I'm not kidding, and you'll get a lot about him. It's gonna get bad for him. Now the question is going to be, is it going to get bad for a lot of other people? I think the Carters. The rumor has it. I'll leave you with this one, and the next time we get together, we can start on this one. But rumor has it that Ms. Carter just split her finances completely from her husband. Ooh, kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, I don't think she's hurting for cash, but he's a billionaire, right? When you want to get your cash away from your billionaire husband, right? Tommy Chong was friggin' great in that Body Illusion. All BS to the left. He was friggin' fantastic in that. James Avery, I think you're spot on. I think the Carters are coming next. I really do. I think that there's a lot of really funky video of them too. Believe that. You understand the videos were running around the clock. There's going to be the skeletons and crap that's going to fall when this baby goes, people. I'm sorry, but I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm looking forward to every one of these dirtbags facing it because they get away with it. And they get away with it. And they get away with it. It's super frustrating too, because I'll throw one out here, make me less popular, but I don't care. When I was in prison, you know who went? T.I. You know who that guy is? Okay. And guys would say, oh yeah, I know, I love that dude. They'd sit and watch him on television. That dude got caught with weapons that don't get you probation and they don't get you a camp. That dude got caught with, his charges were worse than mine. He went to a camp, right? Did a couple of years. He had, with what he had with weapons, there's stuff fully automatic, stuff with sound suppressors, silencers, stuff that gets you 25 to 40 years. And this cat got, I don't remember, it was 3 or something like that, in a camp. And guys would, and I would look at these guys and go, this dude's a rat, right? He could not have gotten the time he got. And I don't care. Truthfully, I don't. But I mean, he's another artist. He's another artist. And by the way, I was on the same compound as Gucci Man when he was there, but he kind of just did his thing. He was under the radar. He's another rapper. Brianna Miller says, oh my God, I hate T.I. Well, you know what's incredible to me is, so you get out after that and you get a reality show. Right? I hope he's turned his life around. I really have. I hope he's turned his life around. And I hope the people that he threw under the bus are doing time that ain't too hard. Hope they're on a decent yard, because he put some people away for a long friggin' time. Corey Feldman ever named actual names yet? I seriously wish I knew that one. All right, Mountain Girl. He named 2 names. He named two names, and they were names that didn't get anybody by surprise. They were names that everybody in Hollywood kind of thought that, Marissa, thank you. And you have a great night. I'm going to leave you with this one because I think it sums up my man too. Rip Curl Readiness says, I don't care how much fame, power, and money I was offered. I could never do things like this or compromise myself, my faith, and my family and friends like this. And that, my man, is why you are here on the lifeboat with a wrench. And that dude is out there getting ready to pay the piper, right? He's been dancing a really long time, folks. But you got to pay that tab, right? One way or another, man. You got to pay that tab. I have a feeling he's going to be doing it in prison. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you at the normal bat time tonight, 7:30 California time. Have a great one. Oh, and I'll be live on the other channel shortly. See ya.